Guys, we're back again with another video in the series of striking for self-protection. That's what it's now become titled as. Striking for self-protection with national champion heavyweight Muay Thai fighter Bryce Frank, and also a nationally recognized combatives instructor in law enforcement circles. Also recently discovered dance instructor.
Right.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
What are we talking about today?
Today we're going to start talking about the defense, the long cover, okay? Long cover is something I use in the basic curriculums. You're probably familiar with like the default cover that our friend Craig Douglas teaches, or cover and crashes. There's a lot of similar versions of that out there. There's nothing wrong with that cover. I think it's a fantastic cover. I actually teach it myself, but what we're going to talk about is the long cover, which is something that I use. It's maybe a little unique that some of the other instructors are not using. Okay. I'm not saying it's better or worse. It's just I have my reasons why I like it. It was very successful for me. I'm able to maintain distance with it very well and keep this in a range where I can work my tools, and that's why I like it. I didn't generally want to get close to somebody and tie up, so that's why I prefer the long cover as opposed to the cover and crash type variations. That being said, I would probably again teach people to cover and crash first, and I do if I'm doing like a long series seminar with somebody, I do teach cover and crashes before the long cover. This is a skill that is very effective when you are aware that punches are coming. Okay. Because it can really help me keep that distance, which can be really effective, especially if I'm dealing with multiple bad guys. Well, the main thing we need to understand with any defense, and I don't care if you're talking about the default cover or the long cover or anything, is blocking is not a function of what I do with my arms. It's a function of what I do with my body. Okay.
Blocking is not a function of what I do with my arms, it's what I do with my body.
Right.
Dig it?
So if I just throw my arms up here, whether it's in a default cover or a long cover, but if I just throw my arms up here but my body's not engaged in this process, you're gonna be able to steamroll right through me. Okay. Probably seen videos of like fights, Thai boxing fights and stuff like this, where guys that can kick really hard, they'll kick the arms and actually break the arms. When the arm is kind of disconnected from the body out here. Okay. So the blocking has to be a function of my body, of my core.
Okay.
So from here, again, I'm working from this defensive posture. And what I'm going to do as soon as this assault comes, the first thing I'm going to do is drop my weight. Okay, so I want to pick up and drop my weight and lower my hips towards the ground. All right, and I need to keep the core very engaged. All right, so I've got a strong core, so you're not able to just run through me with this shot. Now, the way the long cover works is it's a post basically. My lead arm, which for me is my left arm, is going to come out. Okay, so from here, my lead arm is going to come out like so. All right. Now my support arm, my right hand, can either come across the face this way and sort of a cover like so.
So if I came
here, yep. And this will give me a good protection against the straight shots here. Or I can come here this way. All right. So if you're throwing to your right, here, I can come this way or this way. And again, I don't worry about what shot you're throwing. Just like the default cover, I don't try to diagnose what shot's coming. I just will drop into this long cover immediately, okay? Mistakes that we see with this long cover a lot is if you're throwing like a big overhand right at me and I'm trying to turn and intercept the shot this way, where I'm actually turning my body into your shot, because now I'm starting to expose my flank to you. Okay? And if this, right, now you've got my back where you run right through me, okay? Where I generally aim my post is at your shoulder here. As you throw, I generally aim that post right at your shoulder. Now, if it hits your bicep, I don't care about that. That's fine too. If it hits your face, I don't care about that. That's fine too, okay? But where I generally kind of try to target is the shoulder. Because if you throw hard and I target that shoulder, that's gonna really upset you and kind of send you off kilter backwards, all right? So I'm here in this defensive posture that we've talked about. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop my hips towards the ground and lower my center of gravity. Always wanna lower my center of gravity whenever I'm attacked, okay? I don't want, it's gonna help support me if that shot does come through and land, that I'm gonna be able to absorb that a little better than if I'm upright here. Other things is if you are to wrap your hands around me and try to pick me up, it's gonna be harder for you to do if I've lowered my hips down to the ground, so you can't get me up off the ground and my head rapidly accelerate towards the concrete, all right? So I will lower the hips and I will shoot the left arm out. The right arm is gonna either come across the jaw this way, or it's gonna come here this way, or here. All right, so that's how that block will look. Where I really like this is, again, you can see that I can use this to keep distance. So you throw that shot at me here, boom, I block through the core and I can kind of keep distance. I can throw from here, all right? Or I can also use this to tie up, okay? So here, and get that attachment here at the back of the head. If you watch in the UFC, you'll see Daniel Cormier use this a lot, okay? When that shot comes in, he will here, and this is how he will force himself into a clinch. All right, here, boom. Right here, and you notice the block is kind of a strike in and of itself. It's kind of running into that strong.
Yeah,
right?
you're just you connecting to the back of my head there and neck. It's not ringing my bell, but you can feel a jar, bone to bone.
Right.
This is a pretty sensitive area to get struck.
Yeah. So, and again, you know, there's nothing wrong with the default cover or the cover and crash. I think those are fantastic versions. But this is something that I do a little differently. It served me very well when I transitioned from straight kickboxing into MMA, where everyone was always trying to get their hands on me and helping me keep distance. So I think there's definitely some benefits for this for keeping distance and keeping people away from me.
So somebody that doesn't have a training partner, how can they at least start to develop this?
We just shadow it, right? Okay. So we're here, you know, I'm going to work from this position. I'm going to focus on dropping the hips and extending the arms and keeping that core engaged. That's the main thing. Is you can't see this on video, but we're working on really keeping that core engaged when we do this.
You want to go shirts and skins?
Yeah, we could, sure. So from here, this way. And that is what's going to keep, again, you got to remember the blocking is a function of the body, not the arms. So even if I'm doing a cover and crash, if you come in here and doing this type of cover and crash, again, I like that cover a lot. I think it has a lot of utility, but if you're not properly reinforcing that with the way you're using your body, it's going to be ineffective. And what you'll see is this shot come in and it knocks you off kilter like this. All right.
They had their head protected, but didn't have that core tied in.
Yeah, they weren't tied in through the body.
Drive that hammerhead into the attacker.
Absolutely, yeah. You might be a really big, strong guy. I might not be able to knock you backwards, but I should at least be able to halt your forward pressure. And I need good core engagement and good posture for that to happen. If I don't have that, I'm not going to ever stop that onslaught. So
this leads to what?
Well, this could lead to, tying up. Again, I like to tie up off of this a lot here with the collar tie here. You could lead back into striking. If you come in here and here, boom, I can keep distance and go right into putting my hands on you, frame, move you offline, whatever. All these skills that we've been training through this series, this is going to give me the ability to stay in a range where I can do those things.
So if somebody's got a training partner, I'm going to throw a glove on because I don't want to keep throwing my fingers out at your face. What's the best way for them to practice this?
Sure. So you just have your partner, if they can glove up, and just have your partner work on throwing. They can throw any shot they want at you, kind of left or right. And, I would probably start with kind of just circular strikes. So those are a little more telegraphed, a little easier to see, right? And then as you get better and better, you can start getting, more narrow and more linear with the shots. But I would start them really circular. But, we'd start in this manner here, and I wouldn't even know which one you're going to throw. You're just going to throw right or left. And I come in here.
And I'm not trying that hard. The point is, again, you, the person getting the training in this drill, is seeing that hand and body and telegraphing happening and taking action. That long cover, and we were just working through what that would look like, training with a partner, going slow, controlled, and it's not slow to go slow, it's slow so that you can meter yourself and pay attention to the nuanced things.
Absolutely. And like any skill, as you get better with it, the speed can pick up, the variety of punches can pick up, we can start bringing the punches. We talked about bringing the punches it's kind of circular in the beginning, and then you can start bringing them more linear eventually.
Okay. So let's just show them what that looks like. I'm the giver of punches, you are the blocker.
Right. Here.
And you guys watching might say, that looks stupid. He's not even trying. That's the point. I'm not trying to actually hit him. I'm just giving him that punch so that he can work that block.
Right.
And the only reason that we're not doing this the other way around is we want you to see clean iteration and not me looking like a dummy.
And the other thing that you may want to think about with training a skill like this is, again, being very purposeful and deliberate. So we're generally dealing with what would be probably classified as a sucker punch, right? So we get into this rhythm where you just throw one, go ahead, throw. You throw one, then the other, and it starts getting really rhythmic, right?
Yeah.
Like this. You know, in a real training scenario, we would probably want to reset every shot, and you kind of break your timing up so
Okay.
I don't know exactly when the shot's coming, right?
Hey, look at that. Ooh, his face just literally went like this.
And so that's how we would kind of work on making sure that each rep is appropriate. Because what happens with a lot of those drills, they get so rhythmic that it's almost like a dance routine. We're not working on the actual skill anymore.
Which is reading my body language.
Right.
And
understanding that I know when I see certain movements out of you, I know, okay, punch is coming or very likely coming at this point in time. But if we just get to like 1, 2, 1, 2, we're not,
ineffective kata.
Yeah, it's exactly what it becomes.
And that's one of those things that me holding mitts, you talked about this in an earlier video, if I'm always holding mitts and there's nothing coming back at you, you're not learning what this data is telling you.
Right, yeah, so you start looking at like one-way traffic, right?
Yeah.
We've plugged a lot of things in this series, okay? There's no need to put the mitts on right now, but you could, if you had a mitt man, you could work on your straight jolt into your overhand, and then your guy could throw back at you, and now you have to long cover, right? Or he throws and you have to long cover.
Might as well show them just so it's all makes sense. We're starting to tie things together. So you are saying...
I'm here, I straight jolt, overhand, boom, and then long cover. Or I long cover first, right, off of your attack, boom, and now I straight jolt and overhand.
So you blocked the attack and then counterattack.
Right. You know, so we start working on tying all of those things together. And again, work at a speed that you're still processing. That's the biggest problem, is trying to get, working too fast. And I still do it. After all these years, I still do it. You get working too fast, you're like, hold on, I'm not focusing on what I'm doing here. So you got to make sure you slow things down. It's always good to step back, slow things down, pay attention to the feedback from your body, and make sure that you're drilling these things in a very mindful manner.
I dig it. I hope you guys dig it, because we're getting hot and sweaty here, and we put a lot of thought into this, and I think this is one of those things that if you use this as an impetus to develop some really good skills, rather than just carrying a gun or talking about being a tough guy, you're gonna develop some skills that actually can protect you and yours from violence. Mickey with CarryTrainer.com, Drew, the camera editor god, Isk, behind the camera, and Bryce Frank, national champion, exotic dance instructor extraordinaire.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. If you guys like these videos, check him out on Instagram, Bryce Frank. You can get him out to your range or PD or gym to talk about some of this stuff. Be good.